من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Latifah A. Hameen, the CEO for American Muslim 360, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation, where your intellect is respected and your voice is protected.
The views expressed by the host guests are their own and not necessarily the position of AM 360 or the parent corporation, the Community-Wide Shura Conference, CWSC Incorporated. AM 360 content is intended as a community service and is not designed to provide specific personal, medical, financial, or legal counsel or other professional advice, and no liability shall extend to the hosts or hostesses of AM 360 or CWSC. We encourage you to seek an advisor for your specific circumstance.
Community-Wide Shura Conference and American Muslim 360 invites you to promote your organization or event on the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation, where your intellect is respected and your voice protected. Affordable rates allow you to promote your event, product, or service and strengthen our national intelligentsia network. Contact corporate underwriting today at info@cwsc.us. That's info@cwsc.us, or call 910-317-0297. Again, 910-317-0297. Together we can remake the world.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another edition of the CWSC Friday Roundtable. I am one of your hosts, Latifah A. Hameen, with my co-host, Alia Abdur-Rahman. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. You really okay, huh? How was Eid?
Alhamdulillah. How was your Eid, sis?
Alhamdulillah, good. Alhamdulillah. Oh, boy. I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be above ground, and the Eid was good. Ramadan, mashallah, Ramadan was good. I pray everybody prayers and worship was accepted by Allah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, ma'am. I hear you. And alhamdulillah. Inshallah, listening audience. Assalamu alaikum, Juma Mubarak to everyone. We pray that everyone had a most successful Ramadan and a, inshallah, blessed Eid. And, it's just gone, alhamdulillah, for Allah blessing us to have another year Ramadan, being able to see Ramadan. So thank you. We're so thankful for that, inshallah. All right, alhamdulillah. We want to give thanks and praise to Almighty God, Allah, for blessing us to be here today. We thank Allah, alhamdulillah. Oh Allah, we cannot manage this life alone by ourselves. Please make our life what you want it to be, what you prefer it to be. Do not allow us to act on our own. Help us to act only in obedience to you, Almighty God. Allah, we hear and we obey. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad abduhu wa rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God but the one God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the messenger, alhamdulillah. Our Lord, grant us what you have promised us by thy messengers and disgrace us not on the day of resurrection. Surely you do not break your promise. Oh Allah, you are perfect and we are imperfect. So please guide us, inshallah. Oh Allah, you are our Lord. There is no God but you. You created us and we are your servants, and we uphold our covenant to you as much as we're able. We seek refuge in you from the evil we have done. We acknowledge your favor and we acknowledge our sin. So please forgive us. Indeed, there is none that can forgive sins except for you. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Alhamdulillah. Welcome, everyone. Yes, alhamdulillah. You're listening to another segment of the CWSC Friday Roundtable. Alia Abdur-Rahman and myself, Latifah A. Hameen, we're your hosts this morning, alhamdulillah. And we're going to continue on with our first guest we have this morning, alhamdulillah. And I'm trying to see if I have the bio. It's going to be Wilmore Siddiqui. He's a graduate from high school. Served in the U.S. Navy as a jet mechanic. 2 years of college in electronics. Works at Pratt and Whitney Aircraft. Graduated from Browning Institute. Won a first class FCC license. 25 years as a chief electrician. I don't know if I had some of it cut off or not. But that is all the information that I have of that. I'm going to, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Imam Siddiqui.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. The weather's good here in Florida. It's raining a little bit, but it's nice. It's very nice. It feels like an air conditioner. I have my air conditioner off, but it feels like the wind coming through the windows, it feels just like an air conditioner. Allah has really blessed us here in Florida this year. It's a cool, so far the weather's been real cool. It's usually in the 90s by now, but now it's still in the low 80s. Very nice.
Yeah, because we usually have, our weather's been kind of messed up here in Texas. We've had a lot of cold every Thursday. It seems like it rains, and we have some kind of cold front coming in. So really, it's been shaking up. Everything is shifting due to from what I'm hearing.
That's what I was
global warming.
That's what I was going to say. The global warming here on the East Coast. We don't know what the weather's going to be. It's been really cold. It's been raining really cold. My plants are starting to bloom and then they die because it's so cold. And then it gets hot. It's 90 or 70. So we don't know. We just have to thank Allah and keep moving with it, whatever He has in store.
Yes, you never know what Allah is going to do you?
No. Oh, I'm just waiting to see.
Imam Siddiqui, I don't know. I'm going to turn it over to you and let you finish telling us about yourself. I just have that little information, but I know there's so many other things to you and what you do, and your name is not an unfamiliar name. People are aware of who you are, alhamdulillah, especially in the Muslim world. So I'm going to turn it over to you so you can give us a lot more information about who you are, Imam Siddiqui.
Thank you, sis. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. I like to bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship but Allah. And that, nothing would exist without Allah. And I think this is the reason why Muslims are so attentive to their faith. Muslims are so attentive to their families, their faith, their communities, all the things, because Allah has told us that when we come into Islam, we come into Islam wholeheartedly. And I would just like to say that since I've been, before coming to Islam, like all those things that she mentioned, being a jet mechanic, I was on the crew that developed the engine for the 747, the JT9D. I've had a lot of beautiful experiences as far as profession is concerned. And once I came into Islam, I've been an imam now at St. Petersburg Islamic Center for 22, 23 years now. And we have a small Islamic center, whole capacity of 128 people. We bought several pieces of property around the masjid, and we're getting ready to do a number of things. But here in the state of Florida, in the last year and a half, last 2 years, things have really changed with, rent and different things. But I know it's probably the same thing where you are, that in the last 6 months to 8 months, the rent has been raised at least $400 to $500 per month. And so Florida is one of the highest rent districts in the United States. But we here in St. Petersburg, as far as Muslims are concerned, we own our mosque, and it's really the only mosque in Central Florida from coast to coast that's owned and operated by African Americans. And I take pride in that. So I've been at Wilmore Siddiqui, I've been singing in this community for about 35, 40 years. I produced at least 5 CDs, Children of the World, and the Children of the World CD with Allah Did, I'm a Little Muslim Child, Clap Your Hands If You Want. There's a number of songs, so many songs. I performed just about in every masjid on the East Coast and the West Coast. I have yet to go to the central part of the United States yet. But I've been entertaining in this community for a long time. But over the last few years, I've cut back a lot, and I think it's because of COVID. When COVID came in, it really hurt the entertainment. And since then, I've maybe performed 2 or 3 times. I'm supposed to be in New Medina coming up at the end of this month. So I've been. That's basically what it is about me. I'm just chilling right now as far as give lectures on Fridays. I have a young man, Yasin, who's coming up very nice, who does Juma every Friday for me now. And I'm just trying to get the younger generation, the younger brothers to step up, because I don't want something to happen to me and we're absent of leadership. So basically, right now I'm retired, but I do have my business on the side where I do electrical things and I do just about anything. Me and my son work together. We're doing great. We're doing great business-wise. And as far as my participation in the community, like you say, most people know me. I've been around, and I feel so good about being a part of this community under the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad, because this has been my life for the last 40 years, and I can't see myself being or doing anything outside of trying to help this community grow even more than it has grown. So with that, that's about basically what I'm all about. And inshallah, as the conversation goes, you'll learn even more.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And I know you have I know you've had a successful musical career. I mean, we know, actually, we have a lot of your information. I don't know if you knew at the beginning of our, when we do our disclaimer, your music is actually the music that we have playing in the background. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I heard.
And we still have, yes, sir, did you notice that?
I did. I heard that.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of, you know, as a community, I'd say 20 years ago, I mean, I was somewhere every week. And so now it's died down some because I know most of us are, you know, we're older now and we don't travel as much as we used to. I'm still traveling. I'm still doing my thing. And so what I'm doing now, trying to get my music established in Africa, in Ghana.
Oh,
and
good.
I sent all my music over there, and they're playing it over there. And inshallah, next year I want to do a concert in Ghana.
Wow, that'd be great. Oh man. Oh boy, the Ghanaians are beautiful people. MashaAllah.
They are.
That'd be good.
There's a sheikh. There's a sheikh there that's promoting me and promoting my music. He's got the kid. I told him make sure all the children can sing it. So when I come, they'll be familiar with. You know how we used to do it. You know, all the kids come down front and we have a good time singing Allah Did and all the rest of the songs. And I wanted to, if I did it here, go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask you, just right when we were, Latifah mentioned that you were the beginning, you hear your voice. What do you feel like when you hear your voice and you walk in a room or you turn on a show or you turn on a program? What you feel like? How do you feel?
I feel real good. But you know what? I don't like my voice. I really don't.
I was wondering what you're going to say about that. A lot of people don't because you can't. Is it that you can't? Help me, both of you. When you hear your voice, it doesn't sound like you. Sound from inside out, right?
Exactly. It don't sound like me. It doesn't.
Okay.
Not to me.
Latifah?
To me, it don't.
Okay. Very good. Because that'd be a beautiful thing to hear your voice as you're driving from the airport in Ghana or going up to where they're expecting you. And I was just wondering about that. You know, that's going to be inshallah, you can sell tickets and we can purchase a ticket to go over there to witness that. You know, that's a beautiful thing.
It's going to be a very historic thing because, you know, in Africa have their own unique way of presenting their music.
They do.
They play very fast. When they play the instruments, it's very fast. My music is more down key and it's very rhythmatic. And plus, I just use guitar. I just use my acoustic guitar, and so it'll be a new music for them. But it's so basic. My music is so basic and so pure that I'm sure it's going to take off. I think they just need to see me in person, and this is why I try to eat right. And this is try to drink right, eat right, think right, and keep my body as healthy as I can because now I'm up in age, and I have to be when I step on the stage, I have to be able to deliver.
Right.
And so
Alhamdulillah.
I'm looking forward to going to Ghana next year.
Inshallah, may Allah preserve you. Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Well, Imam Siddiqui, what inspired you? I mean, how can you give us a little historical background of how you know, what motivated you to get in music? How did you know that you had this voice? That did you stumble on it? Did you know it? Were you
yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes
stumble on it.
Yeah. Born, of course, you probably were born with that, but how did you discover that?
Good question.
Well, when I was in
yeah.
Well, when I was in the Navy, right, I was sort of like an oddball because wherever I went, I like to get into the culture of the people. And so as a jet mechanic, I went to about 13, 14 different countries. Just what we did in the 60s, we photographed all the countries. We photographed Australia, we photographed New Guinea, we photographed Hong Kong, China, everywhere. We just flew all, and I was a jet mechanic that kept 3 airplanes flying to photograph all of the geographic of all of these areas. And so when I was on Guam, I was walking down the street and I was singing, my girl, talking about my girl. And a guy came out out of the store. He said, hey, brother, you sound good. He says, do you play guitar? I said, no, man, I don't know that. But he said, come inside. So he started playing guitar, and I sang My Girl from The Temptations.
From Temptations, yeah.
You should get a guitar. You should buy one. So I had, being out of the country for about 4 years, I had saved a lot of money. So I bought a nice guitar, and I bought a How to Play a Guitar book, sing-along book. And that first song that I learned was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And the guy was in the barracks in Vietnam, and we were in the barracks. And I came in and I said, hey, man, I can play a song on my guitar. They say, man, we need some music. Come on, play something for us. They thought I was going to play something from the Temptations or Smokey Robinson or something. But I said, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how you wonder. I started jamming that, and everybody jammed it. And that's when I felt like I had something that I could offer, And so from that, when I came back to America, I started writing music. And Ronald Shaheed, that put out all the, that did all the books on Imam Wati Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
He booked me to come to Tallahassee. He said the Imam is coming there, and if you writing all this music, you need to come up here and introduce yourself, And so he had a concert at Florida A&M. Imam Wati Muhammad was there. This is my first time I ever met him, and I sang All I Did and I'm a Little Muslim Child. And after it was over, he and Imam Wati Muhammad invited me to have breakfast with him and Rana Shaheed and Brother Rashad Mujahid. And so we had breakfast, and Imam asked me, he said, how long have you been a Muslim? I said, about a year. And he said, you wrote those songs in a year? Because I couldn't hardly make my prayers in Arabic or anything at that time. It's amazing how I did what I did. And so Imam Wati Muhammad reached across the table and gave me $10. I said, well, Brother Imam, what is this for? He says, I want an album, a tape. Back in the days, it was a tape. Y'all remember those days? It was a tape.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as CDs or nothing. So I had no idea of how to make a tape or how to create an album or anything. And what I said to him, I said, okay, I'll put one together. But I had no idea of how to do it. When I went back to my home, I started organizing and doing things, and I came out with Children of the World. All those songs. Then I wrote I wrote all those songs 2 years of being a Muslim.
In 2 years, you wrote all of those?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And I had only been,
what did he say when you gave him the book, when you gave him the tape?
He said, this is the best Muslim music I ever heard. That's what he said. And so he started talking about me. He started talking about me in Juma, talking about me to all the rest. And then pretty, we had Amcop. You remember Amcop?
I remember
Amcop.
Yeah.
And then start promoting. I started opening up for Brother Bilal and Amcop, and I mean, I was all over the place. I mean, I sold so many tapes. It was amazing. It was amazing. Allah has truly blessed me to, just to keep everything simple and to keep everything down to earth, And my wife get on me all. That you're here in St. Petersburg. You have a beautiful voice. Why ain't you all over the place singing? It's just something that I.
Yes, now, Bill?
No, it was muted for some reason. Hello? I don't hear anything else.
I don't know what happened.
I don't hear him.
Okay. It has to be. Here he is.
Okay, I didn't hear him. Oh, man. Okay.
Hello.
It's just me.
I'm sorry, ma'am, Siddiqui. Somehow I clicked on something. All right, I'm sorry. We're kind of for some reason my phone went to something else. I'm sorry. Now after because we kind of lost you for a minute. So after you were talking about doing your wife said, what did your wife say? That's what we left off. You said you had a beautiful voice and what?
Yeah, she says I could be one of the most popular guys in town, but I don't want to be popular. That's just not something that I'm interested in, because I have so much to do, with I have my garden, I have a nice garden that I'm growing all kind of things. And then what I'm doing now, I'm studying on the human body to find out, all the different systems and how you keep those systems strong, because I'm 70 years old. I'm a little over 70 now. And so what I want to do is, and I don't have any problems with my body or anything like that, because I eat right. I go fishing and I catch my own fish. I got my own chicken, because I try to eat all organic. Everything that I eat, because Allah says in the Holy Quran, eat of the good things that I prepared for you. And so I try to eat nothing except it's natural. Everything has to be from Allah. And so I don't have any problems with my body. I don't have any problems with my voice. I don't have any problems with, I've never had a headache. I've never had a stomach ache. And it's all because, the Quran is such a beautiful book. If we follow that book, then we'll end up being exactly what we're supposed to be. So I don't have a desire to just go out into the world and just sing and do anything. I just stay within the realms of what I do, and that's what I do.
Yes, sir. Well, Imam Siddiqui, we're going to stop right there for that moment. We have a couple people that have their hands up here. We want to get them in, listening audience. We're talking with Imam Muhammad Siddiqui out of Florida. Are you in Tampa or St. Petersburg, Imam?
St. Petersburg.
You in Tampa? St. Petersburg.
No,
okay.
St. Petersburg.
I know, because I know when I went there, I know it's like you walk across the street, you in St. Petersburg, you come back over here, you're in Tampa. So I have to know exactly where you are, because I've been there several times and we've talked several times. So okay, so you're in St. Petersburg. Okay. All right, let me take this caller, and then we're going to go for a station identification break. 706-6276, your name and where you're calling from. You're on CWSC Friday Roundtable.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Muhammad from the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad by the way of Columbus, Georgia. And Brother Imam is everything that you feel of him. And I've been knowing him for about 40 years. I sold his music. I have about 15 different versions of different tapes and things he done up back in the day when we had family life and everything. And I just seen you the last time when you was down here in Imam W. Muhammad High School, when we was all together last year, I think it was, when we was here. And I just want to say that Imam Sadiq is what we all see and feel in each other. And we're trying to find through our du'as to Allah how to express that we believe and we want what Allah has offered us. He's been singing about it. He's been delivering it. And yes, he's right. you can feel that he don't want to get off out there into personal expression of how much he loves Allah and his message. He wants this world that has been promised to us. He wants the Jannah. Yeah. He wants halal. You know, and if you know him and talk with him, he's very kind, and he's trying to tell you, brother, I'm Abdul. I'm satisfied with being Abdul. You know, and I'm trying to help us come together and establish this way of life that has been promised to us for the last 1,443 years. We want it, and he knows. He knows this is our turn to do it here in the United States of America, the descendants of the slaves, you know, and of the community of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Imam W. Muhammad. He wants it. I pray Allah, in closing, that you will see the real Wilmore Siddiqui. He wants us to come together and quit talking. That's why he don't want to say anything about it. You don't want to put a bunch of words out there that will carry believers way on the other side of love and definition of things that has nothing to do about us getting back to being one soul, following one revelation, following the final. He challenged within his lifetime, especially now that he, by Allah's permission, evolved to being an imam. See, there was many years he was just satisfied with being Abdul the brother. And Allah put him in that situation and let him know that he's ready to step forward and pray for people. Not only in his singing, but in his everyday conversation. He's trying to tell us all, because he is our imam. He's trying to tell us that I'm praying that y'all quit talking and singing and dancing and compromising so much and spend time on building this halal reality that our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, as long as the human being is on this earth, until Allah brings us to a wrap, that we are supposed to make sure that they are protected and maintained as believers of one God and Muhammad is his messenger. Just want to say it, because I love this brother. And I've been knowing him for almost 45 years on different levels, sold his music, listened to his words, and tell them, don't forget to let them know about your best song was when you sung the Azan. Oh man, you wanna feel Imam Wilmore Siddiqui. Listen to him sing the Azan. And there's a reason why it fell off the map. Because people couldn't believe that it was coming out of him. Because they never heard him call for us as an imam to Allah to help us. Well, that Azan is something else. I'm trying to tell you, that's the one you need to hear. Out of all the words that he said, that's the one he wants everybody really to hear. How he called upon Allah, his creator, the Lord of all the worlds. Just want to say.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it.
You know, I was out in Colombia. I forget when I did that concert out there, but man, the spirit was so high in Colombia, and and back in that time too, we could notice then that most of the people that attended the concert were like older people. Like there was so many gray. Matter of fact, I commented on it that there were so many gray hair. And now when I do concerts at different places, it's the same thing. But it's not just among us that our young people are not really participating in religion, but they're not participating in politics. They're not participating in a lot of things that should be beneficial for them. And my thing is, we got to find a way to get young people involved in this way of life. I know back in the first, I was never in the first, but I came in right when Imam Wati Muhammad came into office. But I was never in the first, but I really respect what the brothers did back in those times, because what they did, they dedicated themselves to us as a people. And that's something that we haven't done since. And I wish we could get back to that. I wish we could get to the point where, you know, sisters are meeting, and when they meet, they're discussing the Quran, and they're also discussing how we can get our children in the mosque so that we can have a legacy to leave for the future. Because right now, like down here in Florida and most places I go, it's mostly the older generation that's participating. Now I hear that in Georgia, Atlanta, places like that, there are a lot of young people, and there are a lot of young people. That's a huge city, but in a city like where I'm from, St. Petersburg, St. Petersburg, it's not a huge city, and we don't have a lot of young people participating in the mosque like it should. And I think it's because, sisters, if sisters are not bringing the children or teaching out, bringing the children to the mosque, then the mosque is not going to grow the way it should grow. And that's one thing that we're working on right now, trying to get sisters more involved, because when the sisters come, the children come. And when the children come, we grow. And that's what we're working on right now.
And, brother, alhamdulillah, you were going to go to a break, right, Latifah?
Yes, I need to.
Because I have something to add to that. After.
All right. You will do when you come back, inshallah.
Well, let me just put this out here. I'll do it right. Can I do it now? A couple of minutes?
Yeah, come on.
Absolutely right. Brother Imam, Siddiqui, it's the other brother, the previous Imam, the brother who just spoke. We have young people who are like-minded, they're religious, but I think I asked a group of young people a few months ago, what's the difference? They brought up Black Lives Matter. They said nothing's being done, nothing's changed. So they're tired of the rhetoric. They're tired of nothing's changing. Everybody's still trying to. That's why we see older people, because we remember all the good times, all the times we were fighting, all the times my father always brought up. We protested. We really had a good momentum. Then people started dying off and being killed off. So that's where I was going with that question. I guess that's a conversation, because the children, the young people are there. They're mad. That's why all over the world, people were saying Black Lives Matter, and they were protesting. But where do we go from there?
Exactly. And what we need as African American people is a new way of life, and Islam provides that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how we deliver. But it's how we present it to our brothers and sisters in the street. One thing I think that we don't realize as Muslims is how Allah has arranged this religion. Not religion, really. It's a way of life. How Allah has arranged this way of life so that it's so perfect and it's so simple that we as African Americans have complicated it.
Right.
And it's really not that complicated.
That's right.
Because we try to make
with that. Imam Siddiqui, I need to really go to a station identification break, and then we'll be coming right back. We got people that are on the line, have their hands up, want to get to the listening audience as well, and we want to hear more about what you're saying. It's so interesting, Brother Imam Siddiqui. So touch that down, and we'll be right back, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Edward Willis, advisor at Graceline Community, asking you to join me in supporting community-wide Shura Conference and American Muslim 360. Make your tax-deductible contribution today at CWSC.us or phone in your pledge to 910-317-0297. Again, make your tax-deductible contribution today at CWSC.us or by phone at 910-317-0297. Together, we can remake the world. Thank you.
The peace be on you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar Shakir, and I'm resident imam of Masjid Bilal Ibn Rabah in San Antonio, Texas. And I would like to invite you every first Sunday from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time to join us for our class where we're dealing with the subject matter of the basics in Islam. We are excited about this program, even if we're new Muslims or Muslims that have been in the faith for many, many years. It is a wonderful opportunity to learn and understand this beautiful way of life. We also connected with various insights from the tafsir of Imam Waladuddin Muhammad radiallahu anh, and we all explain its practical application. We look forward to being with you on every first Sunday of the month, where we would deal with the basics of Islam. The peace be on you. Assalamu alaikum.
And welcome back to the CWSC Friday Roundtable. I am one of your hosts, Latifah A. Hameen, with my co-host, Alia Abdur-Rahman. We are speaking with Imam Umar Siddiqui out of Florida today, and he's telling us about his journey and Islam and how he got to, how he began to sing and how, where he is right here and now today. All right. Before we do that, we want to have an announcement really quick. We will share your Jummah today, inshallah. It will be right here on AM 360. We're coming out of San Antonio, Texas. Imam Omar Shakir will be the khatib, and it will start at, inshallah, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time today. And then join us back here at 7 o'clock p.m. or 6 o'clock p.m. for Martha Nara Abdullah. She has 2 programs. She has Community Buzz and Community Developmental Stages. So we look forward to that. And also, you can connect with us online at am360.org or by 24-hour streaming at 701-719-4197. Join us live in the studio by dialing 515-605-9891 or 425-292-4253. You can email us at info@cwsc.us or tweet us at CWShura. Like us on Facebook, Community-Wide Shura Conference, and also American Muslim 360 Sharing. Visit the website of our parent company at CWSC.us or leave us a listener comment at 910-317-0297. You're listening to AM 360, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation, where your intellect is respected and your voice is protected. Together, we can remake this world into a better place. And that's what we're talking about as well with Imam Siddiqui, and saying, hey, you know, I'm here to make a difference in this world, to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help our people, inshallah. We have a caller on 914-434. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad. I know who that is. You on the air, Brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. 914-434.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
All right, alhamdulillah. Yeah, this excellent program. The guest that you have on today, now we're most Siddiqui. Yeah, no, I just heard the first time that today we just told us that you were not in the first experience. Now I didn't know that. But anyway, yep. I've been listening to your music for quite a while. Since I've been around 1978. You came out with a song called "Covered All Over." Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. I have 3 of your CDs. Matter of fact, I have 2 in the car. I was going to pick up some meats yesterday from Unity Beach over in New Jersey. Now listen to one of them. You know, it got the song on it, America. Well, I mean, you should hear that song. You begin to fall in love again with America the way you sing it, you know. And, and I think the last time I saw you, I believe at the convention on 2007 convention that we were on our own property outside for the first time. That was on our own property. We didn't go to no hotel that year. Then give we our money in the hotel and things like that on our own property. I wish we kept that up more and more, you know.
In Chicago, right?
In Chicago, that's right. Yes,
I think we did the convention one time on that property. I don't think we did it again.
Only one time.
Only one time. There was some people didn't want to do it on the property. but it was nice. I enjoyed it. It was very nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. You know, I think one of the problems why we haven't gotten our young people into the community we should. You know, just during the first experience we had, you know, the University Slum. It's just that all the temples everywhere had a school, University Slum, just for all the temples everywhere. When he now became the leader, you know, he named the schools, the Sister Claire Muhammad schools, in honor of his mother. And since then, it has seemed to be a dropping off. We have been dropping the ball. So now, up to right now, we only have about 5 full-time Claire Muhammad schools.
Yeah.
And I'm told education is our number one priority. And evidently, we haven't seen the picture and understood that education is number one priority. Like I said, we only have about 5 full-time schools. And that's why we lost a lot of our younger people, because they go to the public schools. You know?
Wow. Yeah.
But you know, I think one of the major reasons that we've lost a lot of our children because we don't see Islam from the proper perspective. And that perspective is that, you know, Allah says, I've perfected this way of life for you, and I give you Islam as that way of life. And so we as African Americans, we concentrate so much on schooling, on, you know, having nice houses, having nice cars. We concentrate on all those things. But children are not concerned about a lot of that stuff. Children are concerned about having a good time, you know, having fun. And so having means that when we incorporate whatever we incorporate, it has to be educational, it has to be religious, spiritual, it has to be culture. You have to put the culture in there, put the economics in there, all of that. What we've left off from our community is the culture aspect of it, because children love music. They love music, they love dancing, they love singing. And so it's incumbent upon us as African Americans or as Black folks to put our spirit into this religion and not practice this religion the way Arabs practice or the way Pakistanis practice, because Islam is our way of life. That's what Islam is. It's our way of life. Pakistanis practice the way that they do it. The Arabs practice the way that they do it. But we have a criteria that Allah has set in this religion so that everybody be on the same page. And those are our the rituals of our religion, like the 5 pillars of our religion. That's what keeps us all connected. And I don't think we as African Americans have really put our taste. That's what my music represents. My music represents an African American or a Black man's taste, a Black man's way of expressing this deen. That's what it represents. That's why people loved it so much, because it was different.
It is. And it's cultural. See, you added a culture to it. It's a spirit, it's a culture, and what you've added, brother, and the brother is right who called the guest and the person who called in, the brother. Our children need to see the culture, and they need to see family. So when they hear music, it just came across my mind. My granddaughter, she's only 2. At 1.5, she started bouncing up when she hears certain music. And that's a universal thing with babies. They don't know how to move and walk and, you know, move their arms. And they just bounce up and down. That's all they can do. But it's a cultural thing. They got to feel it. And that's family. Family.
And see, when we accepted Islam based on the Middle East. And in the Middle East, when I first started singing way back, my life was threatened because I used the guitar, because they say no singing in Islam. And some of us African Americans have bought into that. We've eaten from that tree. And so as I tried to establish, me, myself, Wali Ali, and a number of other groups that came out, tried to establish the culture in this community, we never got the support basically from a lot of imams that really didn't think that sex was a part of Islam. But listen, Allah taught the birds how to sing. Allah taught, and even in the Quran, there's 2 or 3 surahs, ayats in the Quran that talks about we'll be singing praises to Allah. So singing is a part of the deen. Singing is a part of life itself. But we try to accept it based on something other than our own spiritual values that we have.
And the Quran is poetic. The Quran is poetic. Listen to how it is stated. It is very poetic. So we can see how Allah brings that together in the Quran as well, that poeticness. And we're going to have to take another caller, Brother Imam. Sorry about that. I want to get to our next caller, 724-866-866. You listen to CWSC Friday Roundtable. You're on the air. State your name and where you're calling from, please. Couldn't get them sixes out.
That's okay. You probably didn't want to. Not for the symbolic reasons, on materialism. But I'm Sister Gail Muhammad from Sharon, Pennsylvania. I've lived in parts of Pennsylvania all my life, but I wanted to let Brother Imam Siddiqui know how much your music. I was in this little Coal Town region, and that's all of your music. The 45 from Brother Wali Ali, Sister Fuad. Those songs I played in my house early. I became Muslim in 1975 myself, and but the children, whenever their friends would come along, whatever I was doing in the house, they were the songs mostly that I played. So we have to have trust in Allah and know that a seed was planted. When we play those music, I could start any song, even my younger brothers and sisters. I'm 70 myself. All I have to do is say a couple phrases, and they can sing almost the whole song. All your songs and those songs, we need to bring them back and of course add on to them. And Imam Muhammad started Cultural Night, but we had to transition from the culture of America and even the culture of most of our religious background, the hymns. But even my mom was she told me she was in a quartet growing up in North Carolina in the AME church and stuff with her cousins and things. So I used to take the spirituals, I still do it now, and make them more Islamic and show where even something like the old rugged cross, it says one day I'll exchange it for a crown. And I explained to the children, the crown is Islam. It changed your mind. And so it's the culture. And even we have to look at the expressions that are coming out of our young people. And it's not all bad. We have to find the good rap and sit down and listen with them and see what's coming out of them, because it's the juice. They had all these negative things about the juice being negative and all that, but the juice out of them is good too. And we just have to remember. And as an educator myself, I'm supposed to be retired now, but I still work some. And but they have so much in them, and we have to allow them to bring it out in a good way, and not be so critical of them, because and most of our children, a lot of our children did not grow up maybe going to the University of Islam or Sister Claire Muhammad, but it became part of them if we held on to them. And we guarantee that most of our children have excelled in the public school system. They have excelled. So it's in them. A lot of stuff is in them, and we just have to come back around now and get maybe our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren to develop our schools in. But we have to see that it's in them. And we just have to hold strong and know that a seed was planted. I know you said a garden, so that, Imam Muhammad planted a lot of seeds. And if we took our children to hear anything from him, or if we repeated them, we played his tapes in our homes and everything, it's in them. We just have to cultivate it, watch over them, and give them guidance. And we have a bright future. And I want to thank you so much for all the music that came out of you. And it has really been, even myself, I think the last time I seen you in Philadelphia, I think you were there. Were you at a Mali conference in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I was in Philadelphia at the Masjid.
Masjid Allah, was it?
Yes, Masjid Allah.
Yes. And I mean, even you could just start singing a song. Oh, you could probably sing most of your songs, and I could finish them for you. That's how much you say it over and over and over. And it's just beautiful. Even when they who put the corn on your cornflakes, Allah did. Even though there are Islamic principles that have been planted in our children, you know what I mean? And even the ones where you're talking about the struggle in your interpersonal struggle. When the young men hear that they're going through some things, they're listening. They do listen to those songs. And if you have any juice left in you, please put them some more back out. Even about all these videos are on about people changing their eating lifestyle and all. And I'm sure there's something in you about your garden and things like that. But thank you so much for all
I'm going to have to interrupt here. I'm going to have to interrupt here. I'm so sorry because I have to get to the next caller, and plus we have another program. Thank you so much for your comments. We appreciate you so much, sister. And thank you. Assalamu alaikum. 706-6276. Your name and where you're calling from. You on CWSC Friday Roundtable.
Assalamu alaikum, it's Brother Muhammad again. I just want to quickly say that remember, Imam Wilmore Sadiq is Imam. Let's help him be what he wants to be. He wants to be the Imam. He wants to teach the religion of Al-Islam because that's what we're missing. Our children don't know Al-Islam. They might know Arabic. They might know this. They might know that, dealing with different parts of the life of Al-Islam, but they don't know Al-Islam. Just like our culture is Al-Islam. Our way of life is halal. It's very simple what Imam is trying to teach. See, but us, the body, those of us who are listening and have to pass it on to our children, let him be what he is now. Allah has grown him through everything we have been a witness to, have heard in his cycle of life. We remember he's Imam now. He wants to come bring us back like Imam Muhammad was doing and follow his leadership. He wants to teach us that there's only one God and Muhammad is his messenger. The rest of us are just messengers. We are supposed to deliver the message. That he is a wonderful human being if we recognize him and ourselves, who we are. Our culture is to deliver the message. That's who we are. We're not Christian. We're no longer Christians. We're no longer black. We're no longer African. We are Mu'min Muslims. We are believing, but not Muslims who are shooting each other and doing. We are Mu'min Muslims, and we're on our way, inshallah. If you let the Imam be, he's on his way to being Khalifa. Because we got to have a Khalifa. We got to establish the office of Khalifa like we did in Medina and other places that through the life of the Prophet. We have to do it here in America and bring the world back its creation. Allah said, I am creating a Khalifa. So let Imam, because he's a wonderful Imam, because he is very gentle. He's very diligent in his prayers to ask Allah to give him the skills, the tolerance, the patience to deal with us like he's seen Imam Muhammad had to deal with us. And Imam Muhammad said, boy, what is the hell wrong with y'all? So remember, he's got a hard job. And it's nice that we talk about his different developments in this reality that he's in. But right now, he is the Imam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a representative of Prophet Muhammad Islam to establish this model community here in America. Let's not forget the message. That's what Imam. And Brother Imam, I pray Allah that you continue to be gentle with us. Faith, be the mirror that we supposed to be like we are the mirror to you. I know what you are. You are an Imam who used to do this, you do that, you this. But now you are teaching the religion, Al-Islam, you're teaching our culture, halal, etc., etc., etc. Just want to say that.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Assalamu alaikum. We're going to go on, Imam Sadiq. I should have really put you for 2 hours. I mean, you have a lot of people that love speaking with you and talking with you, and I knew that this was going to be something that people really, really would enjoy. So we're just so thankful. We're definitely going to have you back here, inshallah, on our program. I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to have you back because there's so much that you can share with us. And then we'll talk when you come back. We're going to talk more about, your journey as a Muslim and then how that has impacted you overall. I mean, you've talked some of it, but I know you have so much more to talk about, inshallah. I think we have Brother Muhammad. I'm going to take this last caller here for you, and then we're going to wrap up. We have our next guest that's coming on, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad. Did you have another question or comment?
I just wanted to say we appreciate you for Chief Executive Officer and your co-host for bringing Imam Wilmot Sadiq on today. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, you very loved Brother Imam Siddiqui, very much so, very much so. So, inshallah, we will definitely have you back, if that's okay with you, Imam Siddiqui.
Yes, please.
Yes, thing before we close. This
we must not forget. No, I was gonna let you have the floor for the next couple minutes before we bring our next guest.
And go on. And I have one comment. Brother Imam, when you come back, can you start off with your song on the Adhan? When that brother said that, I really wanted you to do that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
You talking about when I come back on the program? Okay, yes. Yeah.
Well, we'll probably try to continue on. I don't know if you'll be available next week. We have the same time next week if you're available, Brother Imam. If you would come on and we can finish.
That'll be nice.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So we'll get you for next week.
I'm putting you on the calendar.
He's gonna come back next week, inshallah, for the first hour. That's
May 5th, 8 to 9. May 5th, 8 to 9. Correct? I'm putting it on the calendar.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's May 5th. Alhamdulillah. All right. I'm going to turn it over to you, Imam Siddiqui, and let you just give your last comments, inshallah.
Well, I would like to really, really, really reiterate this to all my brothers and sisters out there that are listening, is that we are African-blooded people. And when Prophet Muhammad said that when he went to ascended and he heard footsteps in front of him, it was Bilal. It was an Abyssinian, an African brother. And when the call was made, the angels gave it to Umar, and Umar came and told it to the Prophet, and the Prophet said, go teach it to the Bilal. And it's because African people are rhythmic people. African people are balanced people. We are a people that is going to lead people back to this being. We can't do that if we forget about who we are. We must, at some point, develop curriculum and programs for our people to bring our people to this being. It's incumbent upon us to make sure that we save our people. In the nation, in the beginning, in the first, that's what they did. They went to the project. They went everywhere. Malcolm, all them brothers went to the project. They was on the streets. They was everywhere. They was teaching the sisters. They was teaching the brothers. We haven't done that in 60 years. And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to saving our people, getting our people, get new blood in the mosque and stop trying to cook by each other. That's been a problem for a long time, and we had to stop that. So may Allah bless us. May Allah give us the strength and the courage that we need to be the people that we need to be what He made us to be. And may Allah give us the understanding that we need so that we can say and do what is just and necessary for the living of ourselves and the living of all of mankind. So may Allah continue to bless 360 to continue to grow, and all the staff members and everything that invited me. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be on here. I feel honored to be a part of this community. I feel honored to even just be alive, because this community gave me life. Before I came to this community, I had a life and I was doing very well. I thought I was doing very well. But once I got into this community, I found out what life really is. So may Allah continue to bless us and bless the leadership in this community to see what they need to see. And you sisters and brothers, man, you're so dear to me. May Allah continue to bless you.
Alhamdulillah. Vicky, and like I said, inshallah, we will be talking with you the next week. I will be in contact, and we'll be next week. We'll be looking forward to our continued conversation with you, inshallah. All right. Inshallah. Thank you so much, brother Imam, and may Allah continue to bless you, because you have some, you have a big job there, and may He continue to bless you. I visit your mosque before. I visit your masjid before, alhamdulillah, in St. Petersburg. So keep up the good work, brother Imam. And inshallah,
inshallah, next week.
And yes, and we will, inshallah, we will hear from you next week. Alhamdulillah. All righty. All right, assalamu alaikum, brother Imam. And you're welcome to stay on. Yes, sir. You're welcome to stay on, inshallah. I can't hear you.
I gotta get.
Excuse me.
I gotta prepare.
Okay.
I gotta get prepared to go to the mosque.
Okay. So alhamdulillah. So inshallah, we'll be communicating with you next week. Inshallah.
All right.
Have a great rest of the day. And do Mama
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. All right, listening audience, we've just finished. We just finished, and we are going to get to our sister, and I know she's on waiting for us, inshallah. We're going to take a quick station identification break, and then we'll come back and introduce our next guest, inshallah. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to AM 360. Join your host, Munira Habil, every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we explore relationship topics addressing what we didn't know, what we've learned, and what we need to know and why. Because on this show, it's all about courtship and marriage.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the Preacher Hadi, Director of the MCNRD Model Community National Resource Directory, reminding volunteers of our upcoming MCNRD Social Connect Conference every last Sunday of the month, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We look forward to your participation, so please check your email for conference call information. Thank you so kindly. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to the CWSC Friday Roundtable. This one quick announcement I'd like to make. We have one of our members, one of my staff, Kareem Hassan. And I hope he doesn't mind me putting this out here, but please let's make dua for our brother. He was in the hospital, so let's make dua that he has a speedy recovery, inshallah. Kareem Hassan. And let's make dua for our brother, inshallah. All righty, let us introduce our next guest here, a sister that is no stranger to the Muslim world, very, very well-known sister, Ayesha K. Mustafa. She became the editor of Muslim Journal in January 1989. the third woman editor of the 46-year-old newspaper, successor to Muhammad Speaks, and its longest tenure educator. She graduated from Bucknell University in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, with a BA degree and a double major in psychology and political science. Her master's degree is in journalism and is from Columbia College of Chicago, Illinois. Aisha converted to Islam in 1974, joining the community of Imam Ward bin Muhammad, Rahimahullah, through the Atlanta Muslim community, moving to Chicago in mid-1975. She worked throughout the Muslim community offices, including Sister Claire Muhammad School, Prison, Dawah, and the Muslim Women's Development Class. Her initial job in Chicago was as a transcriber of Imam Muhammad's lectures that were used to create the Imam's Kit that trained former Nation of Islam ministers and captains for the role of imams. In 1978, she was named lead instructress for the Muslim sisters trained by Imam Ward bin Muhammad, Rahimahullah. She also traveled with delegations led by Imam W.D. Muhammad several times, going to Saudi Arabia, to Riyadh, Jeddah, and Mecca, to Jerusalem, and to the West Bank, witnessing Imam Muhammad's meeting with Palestinian President Yasser Arafat. She was a presenter at the 3-day international media conference hosted by the Folklore Movement Net One Media Group, held in Rome, Italy in 2004, with 800 participants from over 20 countries. She made Hajj to Mecca in 1977 with the first and then largest Muslim American group led by Imam Ward bin Muhammad, and has made Umrah several times. Aisha was named Muslim Woman of the Year by Imam Ward bin Muhammad in 1994. A street in New Medina, Mississippi was named in her honor at New Medina's 25th annual retreat in 2011. Aisha was one of the inaugural hosts of the 7 daily 1-hour talk radio shows every Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. for Radio Islam, continuously live streamed at www.radioislam.com, produced by Sound Vision Production or Foundation on WCEV 1450 AM radio. After moving to Mississippi, she joined the Tallahassee College Mass Communications Department faculty as an adjunct, and in 2015 as an assistant professor. Recently, she became a board member of the International Museum on Muslim Cultures in Jackson and joined the advisory board of the Mississippi Free Press. Without further ado, let us bring on our sister, our friend, our well-loved sister, Sister Ayesha K. Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Yeah, you know what? Alhamdulillah. You have a long bio, but girl, I was like, I know everybody be thinking, you be thinking to yourself, is that me? Yes, that's you.
well, we can all go home now. Praise be to Allah. Thank you all so very much for having me, and I would listen in to Imam Wilmore Siddiqui's first hour, and I wanted him to stay on too. We have to have him back.
Yes, oh, wow. we do. But both of you all are just so, I guess having two well-known Muslims in our Muslim community. Probably should have had you on one at a time so that we could have the time so we could ask you the questions. Because you got a lot of history as well, Sister Ayesha, where you've done so much in the Muslim community and you're so well known. Also, one has to say, we got to put that Mustafa K. Got to put Ayesha K. Mustafa. Everybody know exactly who we're talking about. And we're going to turn it over to you, Ayesha. We have my co-host, Sister Alia Abdur-Rahman, is on with me this morning, and she's so happy to have you as well, Sister Ayesha.
I am, Sister
Alia. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, salam
right.
alaikum. Salam alaikum, sister. Yeah.
Wa alaikum
I'm
assalam,
just
everyone.
anxious. I'm started.
Okay.
Turn it over to you, Sister Aisha. Give
Yes,
us some more background on you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, Bismillahir-Rahmanir Rahim. You know, from where I'm sitting now, just for some context, you know, when I converted to Al-Islam, I moved to Chicago and I stayed there for 36 years. And after the passing of Imam Muhammad, a couple of years after that, then I moved back to my home abode, which is Mississippi, and I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. So I usually, when speaking from Jackson, Mississippi, I usually open up with the greetings from ground zero.
Oh boy!
This is what we call some rough terrain, and it brings back so many memories and thoughts, you know, and some, you know, basically why we were attracted to Al-Islam in the first place. Another thing that stands out today is, you know, coming from Mississippi, Emmett Till was my George Floyd. When Emmett Till got killed at 14 years old, if people haven't kept up with the history, that was the pivotal moment. His exposure, his death exposure, that was the pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. Everything changed after Emmett Till.
Yeah.
And it changed because of his mother, Mamie Till Mosley. You know, when she came to retrieve her son's body after he had been murdered, she was warned when she took him back to Chicago. She had sent him down for the summer to stay with his grandparents, and he was murdered. And when she took him back, his body back to Chicago, they warned her not to open his casket because his body was so battered. The KKK warned her. So when she got back to Chicago, she was accompanied by Simeon Booker. Simeon Booker was the editor of Jet magazine. She decided she was going to open the casket. Not only did she open it, and the people streamed by that casket, they were wrapped around, the line was wrapped around the block, and they came by to see Emmett Till's battered body. And then she gave Simeon Booker, the editor of Jet magazine, permission to put the picture on the front page of Jet magazine. And so that picture went all over the world on that magazine. And people began to recoil on what is happening in America and the disgrace, oppression, and even murder of African Americans. And so and to really bring this quite so on my mind today is that the woman who accused Emmett Till of whistling at her, set off the chain, Carolyn Bryant died yesterday at 88
it was just
years old.
Yesterday? Oh,
just
I
yesterday.
thought it was last year. Okay.
She has been moving about because they still trying to indict her for that false accusation. But that led to his murder. So she was an accomplice. But she died at 88 years old yesterday, April 27th. And I was listening to the earlier show with Wilmo Siddiqui and us talking about our children. But you all know, all of us, we used to be young, right? Sometimes we don't remember. When I went to Chicago by myself, because I was moved to be Muslim by myself, out of 8 kids in my family, I was the only one that got that feel. I was 23, 24 years old when I converted, 27 when I went out on my own. And so I think about our young people and where we want them to be and where they are. But, you know, Malcolm was a young man when he accepted Al-Islam on his own in prison and made that conversion and that commitment. And he was still in his 30s when he was martyred.
Dr. King was a young man. He didn't make it out of his 30s when he was martyred. He got the Nobel Peace Prize when he was 35. I think about John Lewis. John Lewis was the youngest boy at the table with Dr. King. He was in his 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he just felt that commitment, and he got up and started following them. And here in Mississippi, the whole movement was young. Where I teach school now, Tougaloo College, they had what they call the Tougaloo Nine. They were college students who set out to integrate the public libraries here in Jackson, Mississippi. And when they went in and sat down with a book to read, they were arrested because they weren't permitted in that library. It was for whites only. And all over this country, one of the ladies that we awarded a time to be grateful when we were in Bermuda, her name was Diane Nash. You can still pull up Diane Nash's history on PBS programs, but she was recently given the Medal of Honor by President Biden for her lifelong work. Diane Nash was 20-some years old, a student at Fisk University, when they decided that they were going to bring a busload of students to Alabama and Mississippi to test the desegregation laws. I heard somebody say, y'all were free with Civil War. No, we weren't. Y'all just stopped enslaving people, but we weren't free. They were still testing the laws up to the 60s. Diane Nash brought a group of students out of Fisk University, and when it was so much violence, like the Edmund Pettus Bridge violence, there was so much violence in the South against African Americans trying to enforce those desegregation laws. Till President Kennedy had people down south. And when one of his people found out that Diane Nash was bringing a busload of students, he got her on the phone and told her, young girl, don't bring those students down here. You're going to get everybody killed. And Diane Nash told him, sir, everybody on this bus gave me their last will and testament before they got on the bus. These were 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old people. Diane Nash came out of Chicago to Fisk. Some of these students, their parents didn't even know they were doing this because their parents would have tried to stop them. Because they could very well have gotten killed. Some of those buses were firebombed. But I say that to say there is a disconnect with our young folks. Something has gotten between us and that energy, and we have to reclaim, clear the road for them, because once we clear the hurdles from the road, I think we will see them emerge in their own sense of responsibility. But it just has to be a sense of responsibility there. We have to keep reinforcing this history that we have so that they can understand, you know, this is just not, we didn't just choose Al-Islam for ourselves. We chose Al-Islam for our people. And even working with the Muhammad Speech and the Muslim Journal newspaper, the newspaper was to challenge the conditions that surround our people. We weren't just selling a newspaper to make $1. We were selling a newspaper to make a change. And I was so excited to hear Imam Siddiqui talk about our African spirit, because, you know, in that Muhammad Speech newspaper, they used to have the hands reaching across the waters. And that was an aspiration that we would live towards. One day we will reconnect with our African roots. And if you haven't studied slavery, they did everything they could to sever that connection. Well, you know, they tried to make us subhuman. The African slave trade actually tried to remove humanity from us. And then, you know, they wrote us down as 3/5 of a man. We weren't even a whole person. So they did everything they could. But Imam Muhammad, when he would teach, and he was a good friend with Sierra Lincoln, Dr. Sierra Lincoln, that was at Duke University. And they talked about the genetic memory. and that no matter how hard the enslavers tried, they could not erase the genetic memory that we had within us of al-Islam coming from Muslims on the continent of Africa. They couldn't get to that, so they tried to make us subhuman, but Allah had it that something survived in us that could be reignited under the right circumstances. And some of us didn't even know why we were accepting Islam, but we were just drawn to it. We were driven to it. Mm-hmm. And Imam Muhammad also said, people looked at us like we were dead people. He said, just like they look at a seed of a plant, and they think it's a dead seed. They think it's dead. And people without a training would throw it away. They look at it as pebbles. Oh, those pebbles, get them out the way. They hurt your feet. He said, but what they didn't know was the life germ was inside those pebbles that was still viable. And if you put them in the right conditions, they'll burst out into a plant under the right circumstances. And the strength, the will for that plant to grow is so intense that it breaks out from under flocks of earth. You put a seed deep in the earth, and that little seed will burst out with the right conditions of air, water, and sunlight, and will force its way up through, cross towards the sun. And that's where I think our people are. I think the system is doing everything it can to get between us and our children and to throw obstacles in the way. Right now, even here in Mississippi, it's violence, it's gun violence. It's taking our young boys away from us and standing between us and our children. But sometimes we even are afraid of our own children because of the violence in our communities. But inshallah, this too will be defeated. And I pray Allah that we have the opportunity to continue to use the vehicle of the Muslim Journal, just like we did with the Muhammad Speaks, to reach out to our people. There are people who will tell you, I hadn't met a Muslim yet, but I read that paper. The brothers gave me a paper on the street, and they followed the paper to the mosque or to the temple. They said they had to go see for themselves. Even in Bermuda, said the Muhammad Speaks started circulating, and we built a community of Muslims around the Muhammad Speaks. So we want the Muslim journalists to continue in that legacy, the reach out, and we want to reinvigorate, not so much putting brothers on the street in bow ties to force sale papers. We want a group of people who will support the Muslim Journal to the point where we can give the papers away on the street and invite people to the local masjid. Just give them that Imam W.D. Muhammad centerfold message that will reignite in them their consciousness. And that's what's being clouded and subdued and overrun with the violence and all the vices out there. And our generation, we came through some rough times, some violence, the drug culture was high. Imam Wilmo Siddiqui is a Vietnam vet. We know what they went through as veterans in Vietnam, and to come home. A lot of veterans came home and they were still discriminated against. And they said, when they heard Elijah Muhammad talk, they immediately responded because they had already fought a war on foreign soil and then came home and couldn't sit at a counter. So when they heard Elijah Muhammad talk, that was their salvation speaking to them. So I pray community around Shura Campus will partner with us, and I want to implore the sisters to help us get an article out of the interview that you just did with Wilmo Siddiqui, so that we can have your column in the Muslim Journal with your special guests to reinforce what they've already presented, and so that we can further it in other audiences, something that everybody needs to hear. So we thank Allah for the partnerships that we have with you, and that we can reinforce that. And Imam Wilmo Siddiqui talked about taking his songs to Africa. All praise is due to Allah. I missed the cruise to Barbados because I had just come back from Senegal, and I couldn't turn around that fast to get to the Barbados. But Senegal let us know that they told us don't say you're a visitor. Don't say you a guest. They said, don't say you're a tourist. Just say you're coming home. And we felt that.
Oh boy, that's so nice.
Throughout the people that we met, and I know with Brother Waleed Shamsuddin, who is one of I call him our legacy babies. You know, his father Shamsuddin started the fish, steak and take and fish businesses that we knew about throughout our communities. And Waleed is one of the sons of that legacy that's taking his father's work and carrying it further. And he has Supreme Foods Corporation. And he was the one that spearheaded the trip for us to go to Senegal. And he did his own DNA test for his mother's lineage, went back to Sierra Leone. So when he went over to Sierra Leone and told them about his mother's lineage going back there, they made him an ambassador from Sierra Leone and gave him dual citizenship. And so he's been working on behalf of Sierra Leone as an ambassador with dual citizenship with the U.S. And he intends to take more delegations in that vein of us reconnecting with our heritage. When we were in Senegal, I think he picked up about 15 applications of people who had traced their lineage to take back to Sierra Leone when he went back to Sierra Leone, because they do offer in that constitution dual citizenship, but Africans in the diaspora who can show that they have a linkage to certain countries. And Sierra Leone is one of those countries that will offer you dual citizenship. So I'll stop there, sisters, and again, thank you, and thank you for this partnership, that we can grow it, support each other, and always know that the Muslim Journal is here at your disposal for your great work that you do and for you stay in the course. You know, we need to support each other more. And we want to be more visible in the pages of Muslim Journal. It's to our benefit. You know, it's just being logical. It would be to our benefit greatly. So thank you.
Thank you, sister. Oh boy, thank you
for taking time out of your schedule and giving us so much of the history. So thank you so much. And just wanted to ask you, because I know you're all over, and I know, every time I turn around, you study keeping, revamping the Muslim Journal. I know that you transferred, the headquarters are now going to be in New Jersey. Can you tell us more about what's happening with the Muslim Journal and some of the transformation?
Oh, praise be to Allah. Well, all coming through the COVID pandemic, everything was trying times for everyone, all businesses, and not just the Muslim Journal, but newspapers in general were impacted because most newspapers rely on advertising. And when around the country, when they would stop having events, then people stopped advertising. And even some of the big newspapers were impacted. And so was Muslim Journal. When we would have events that would be advertised in the Muslim Journal, and the Muslims stopped having events, then we were greatly impacted. Some massages, didn't make it. A few massages didn't make it through the pandemic. The smaller ones closed. But even those who did make it through the pandemic, they were closed. So our sales through the massages were impacted. So in those chain of events, those last few years, we really were struggling. One sister out of Naima, who was the secretary at the Masjid, Atlanta Masjid in Atlanta, she helped us through that struggle to help us bring in some extra financing. We didn't have physical A Time to Be Grateful one year, and that group put on a virtual A Time to Be Grateful, which was exceptional. And so we are moving in terms of what do we need to do to sustain, secure, and guarantee the future of the Muslim Journal. Malcolm started Muhammad Speaks in 1961. So from 1961 and we were calculating through our campaign, 1961 to 2021, 60 years. And so we said this first 60 years we covered. Now we got to establish, sustain the next 60 years. And what do we need to do? So a lot of our support has come from that Newark, New Jersey corridor. Sister Joan Najila, who traveled with you all to Barbados and is the national chairperson for A Time to Be Grateful. She's located there, and she is a staunch supporter and fighter for the Muslim Journal. Just leave it to Joan, and she's going to get it done. We have several massages that were top salespersons, but one of them was Masjid al-Haq in Newark with Imam Abdul-Karim Muhammad, and I think he went to Barbados with you all, he and his wife, I think he did. He was still today, their master was one of the top sales masjids for Muslim Journal. So he began to express to me concern for the Muslim Journal and support, and that we have to reinvigorate the support. Those brothers in Newark, you know, at a time when the paper first started, people like Kazim Ahmed, you know, Kazim was a lieutenant in the Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam, the FOI. Kazim was a lieutenant, but he was a newspaper lieutenant. That is, when Muhammad's speech was printed, they would take them to people like Kazim, and Kazim would distribute them to the brothers. Now, the system at that time was all the brothers of the FOI had to take 300 papers, right? And a week, 100 papers a week. And you sold them, but what you didn't do, you didn't bring them back. So I say that to just lay the groundwork for those brothers in that Newark, New Jersey corridor, across Newark, across New York. They had a competition. They said we can do more than 300 a person. Those brothers were doing an average of 1,000 papers a week individually.
Wow.
They were picking up 1,000. One brother recently passed, Brother Yusuf. He was with us at A Time to Be Grateful in D.C. this past December. At the breakfast, he came up on the stage. Brother Yusuf was on one side of me, and Brother Waleed, that I just talked about with the African Connect, was on the other side. And I introduced Brother Yusuf. I said, this is representative of our old soldiers. And I said, Waleed is representative of our new soldiers, you know, because brothers were soldiers. Brother Yusuf was one of those brothers who sold 1,000 papers a week by himself. Wow. And we feel that we get that kind of support that we need out of that Newark area. And with the concerns that were expressed by Imam Kareem Muhammad out of Masjid al-Haq, I feel confident that the Muslim Journal's interests will be best protected. And so we reestablishing the corporate office of Muslim Journal in Newark under the leadership of Imam Abdul-Karim Muhammad, and bringing on some young folks too, some 40-somethings, and hopefully we can pull up a few 30-somethings. But of course, sometimes this requires sacrifice. And that's the one thing that our young people have to understand. It requires sacrifice to, quote unquote, build a nation, and build a nation that would be a foundation for our people. And so we want to set up the Muslim Journal for the next 60 years. And we thought the best home for it would be in that Newark corridor. We began to rebuild the support for it out of those people who cherish it, and those people who have children who we think would cherish it as well.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
And our next Time to Be Grateful, for everyone who wants to come and see, our next Time to Be Grateful will be in Newark in December. So we asked everybody to come check it out. When we said we were moving the Muslim Journal headquarters to Newark, the mayor came out. Mayor Baraka of Newark came out to the program that we had, presented us with a proclamation, came up on stage, proclamation, And after that presentation was done, he went down and sat in the audience. You know, sometimes our officials would come give us something and leave. He didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
He presented us with the project, set for the rest of the show. So I said, Allah, this is a good sign. And then we got a letter from Congressman that represents Newark. Congressman Payne sent us a letter welcoming Muslim Journal to Newark. So we've been getting good signs. We got to do the groundwork and see it through.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That is so wonderful. We're going to take a station identification. You've given us so much history. Wow. It's so
I know.
So, inshallah, yeah. We're going to open up the lines to the listening audience. If you have any questions or comments or concerns for Sister Ayesha K. Mustafa, please press 1 to get in the queue. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to take a quick station identification break, and then we'll be right back, inshallah. Don't touch that dial.
God's peace be upon you. God's love be upon you. God's compassion be upon you. The one soul of humanity. May we let it be in thought and in action. On behalf of CWSC Intelligentsia, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation, where your intellect is respected and your voice protected, American Muslim 360, the Speakers Bureau, the Model Community National Resource Directory, the Volunteer Human Resource Network, Scholarship, the Learning Lab, Ambassadors, National Leadership Advisory Council, Internship, Leadership Development Council, the Think Tank, Strategic Family Institute, the bookstore. May we share completely humanity in spirit and in form, from thought to action. God's peace, God's love, God's compassion. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Imam Mikhail Ukda, Assistant Imam of Masjid Al-Halim, New Medina, Mississippi, asking you to join me in supporting community-wide Shura Conference and American Muslim 360. Make your tax-deductible contribution today at CWSC.us or phone in your pledge 910-317-0297. Together, we can remake the world.
And welcome back to the CWSC Friday Roundtable. I'm one of your hosts, Latifah A. Hameen, with my co-host, Sister Alia Abdur-Rahman. And we are talking with Ayesha K. Mustafa of the Muslim Journal this morning. She's given us so much good information and just broadening our perspective. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to let you all know, please join us back here for Share Your Juma at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on AM 360. We have a contend out of San Antonio, Texas, Imam Omar Shakir, and then we're going to come back again at 6 o'clock p.m. out of Florida. Our Executive Director, Mata Naila Abdullah, she will be having community buzz and community developmental stages. Join us, inshallah. All right, we have a caller, 908-812. You're on the CWSC Friday Roundtable. State your name and where you're calling from.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Joan Najila, the National Chair of Special Events and Time to Be Grateful. How is family doing? Family, we consider AM360 family. And I want to say, as Sister Ayesha K. Mustafa mentioned, Barbados was a time that we did collaborate as partners, and we really showed Barbados who the Muslims in the United States was. And we also were welcome, and it was very hospitable, and we have built relationships. And we just need, again, more young people to embrace that, because there are so many opportunities as Sister Ayesha mentioned, there's so many opportunities for the young people. And I do have a question, but I just want to make this statement before I ask the question, is that all praise is due to Sister Ayesha for her tenacity and her commitment. And I just, without saying, we all know that, that commitment has been what has sustained the paper before. And now with the leadership of Imam Abdur-Rahman establishing the Muslim Journal Corporation in New Jersey, we're trying to build an infrastructure to prepare for the next 50 years and beyond. And we're trying to put the young people out in front. So this year, we want the young people to be chairs of a time to be grateful. We want the young people to know that we're going to step to the side and hear their ideas. We have a event on Thursday. Usually Time to be Grateful starts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Thursday has been added this year, and we want to mobilize the arts, the culture of the young people and have round tables where we can talk to the community and we can hear the ideas. The Muslim Journal is our narrative and showcases who we are. And we need to continue that in spite of technology and social media and the whole idea of literacy, of reading. We need to get this generation, we're so visual, but we understand the visual, but we also understand that the brain needs to be enhanced by reading. So what I wanted to ask Sister Ayesha, is Muslim Journal open for a journalist training program and featuring a column with the interests of young people far as the print and as well as maybe the upcoming new app? I wanted to propose that question to society.
All praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am, Sister Joan. Since I've been back in Mississippi, I've been back since 2011. So that's 10, 11 years, 11 full years since I've been back. And I was afforded the opportunity to teach at Tougaloo College in the Mass Communications Department. I started as an adjunct professor, just teaching a couple of classes. And for the last 10 years, I've been a full-time professor in the Mass Communications Department. And going back to Malcolm, who started the newspaper, when Malcolm started Muhammad Speaks in 1961, even before then, going back in the late 50s, Malcolm did an article and a radio program promoting Black newspapers. And back then, in the height of oppression of African Americans, Malcolm called the newspapers, he called the white establishment newspapers the big guns. And he said, when the big guns turn on you, who's gonna represent you? Who's gonna defend you? Talking about Black people. He said, you need your own guns. And he was calling what he was referring to as guns is the media. He said, you need your own guns to come out and support you. He said, if you're waiting on the big guns downtown, the mainstream white newspapers, they'll have you turning on your brother. He said, we'll be eating our own flesh. And so at that time, before Muhammad Speaks, he said, just buy a Black newspaper. He said, I don't care which one you buy, just support a Black newspaper. He said, because that keeps them well-oiled and ready to come to your defense. And back then, the media had to be the defense of the people. And it's still that way today, because as Muslims, we will be absorbed by the mainstream media, and they will represent us as terrorists or people who are anti-American, confused. They'll have us collected as a cult, and they may give us a nice story around Eid, around celebration, Ramadan, but usually they highlight us when some kind of terrorist act takes place. And so we have to defend ourselves not only as African Americans, but as well as Muslim Americans. And that requires us to have a strong press. Right now, everyone thinks that social media is going to do it, but I hesitate. If you look right now, even Twitter is folding. Twitter is confused. If you look right now, Facebook is going to defend itself in congressional settings, and they're putting so much pressure. If you criticize the wrong group of people, Facebook will block you. Your message will not get out. Twitter will block you. Your message will not get out. And now Instagram, they say it just confuses you and confuses our kids until you don't want to use it anymore. So we have to rely on our own media, and our newspaper industry has to be integral in that. So I say that yes, one of the Allah willing, one of the final contributions that I want to make to the Muslim Journal establishment is to establish a communications program that teaches young youth. Now, if we look back in the history of newspaper business, to have a advanced degree came later. There were people doing the work before there was a requirement for you to have degrees. We can train our young folks that's already in the street, give them a purpose to be in the street. Go out there and cover what's happening in Back back with a certificate of journalism. And then they can grow further, and as they develop, and if they want to, they can go on for further degrees. But we can give them the groundwork, we can give them the floor plan where they can already perform. They just need some training. They have the tenacity, they have the will, they have the backbone to be on the front line, because they're doing that already for all other kind of purposes. So we want to tell them, come in, have a purpose with you being in the street. Report on what's going on. And we want to develop that in a program under the Muslim Journal, as well as to have it to provide us with more news gathering opportunities.
Sister Ayesha, I thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah. I just want to make one note. Joe mentioned that Muslim Journal app. We're developing that now because we do have online presence. We do have online subscriptions, so we want to make it easier for people who do everything online. They have easy access with the Muslim Journal app, where they can download on their phones, on their iPads, and everything from the Muslim Journal can come to that app immediately, and they can see it.
Ayesha, and like you and Wilmore Siddiqui mentioned, these are interesting programs that our next generation or generation now can get involved in. Reporters, they are on the street, they like to be able to tell what happened today or listen to news or listen to culture things. So the Muslim Journal can be that hub. So all the massages that are listening, let them know that we need them to start being engaged, sending articles, and being reporters, because this is a place where they can get their first experience and further their career and help their community and be a valuable part of who we are and who we represent as people in the community of Al-Islam. That's my comment for the day.
I just want to follow
Thank you so much.
I just want to follow with one thing to close that message out. Remember, and coming back from where I started, I guess, with George Floyd. Remember who recorded the murder of George Floyd? Daniela Fraser was 17 years old. She happened to be on the scene with her cell phone, and she recorded that officer murdering George Floyd in front of her. The other officers tried to intimidate her to make her move, and she refused to move. She refused to put her cell phone camera down, and she recorded for the world the murder of George Floyd. Those are the kind of youth that are out there, and we want them to know that they have a purpose. And even when she went through the trial, they asked her, And she said in that trial against that officer who murdered George Floyd, she said, I recorded his murder, but I would have rather have saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some powerful youth on the street, you know, and when they are met with the challenge, we think they'll stand up. And she's just one example.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Ayesha, and may Allah continue to reward you.
Praise be to Allah. Well, I'll be checking in with you all, and I got to talk to you about that article with Wilmo Siddiqui. You know, I was in St. Petersburg with you all, and I was blessed to get a photo with Imam Wilmo Siddiqui. Is one of my favorite photos. And now he'll be in New Medina Memorial Day weekend here in Mississippi, so I have a chance to meet with him again. So praise be to Allah, it's coming full circle. I really enjoyed the first part of the program with the Imam Wilmo Siddiqui. And I know when he did the concert in Atlanta last year or so, the children that grew up with his music are parents now. And so they brought their children to the concert. So they had their children on the floor listening to Wilmo like they used to when they were kids, and they were all singing Wilmo songs with him. And that was who Imam Alim Muhammad out of Philadelphia, his daughter. I don't have her name in front of me right now, but she is an attorney within the administration, President Biden's administration. When they had Eid at the White House, there were other Muslim attorneys out of our association there, and they began to sing Wilmo Siddiqui songs.
Grew up with a generation.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. It carries.
Mm-hmm,
and we impact people even when we think we haven't impacted them, we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is
we
such
never
a
know.
blessing. That is such a blessing. Well, we are winding down our hour here. We have enjoyed you so much, Sister Ayesha, and it was all our pleasure to have you in St. Petersburg, where we all were there for the iftar, for the United Iftar with the Tampa Bay Muslim Association, the iftar that we were there. So that was so pleasant, and your speech was so wonderful. So alhamdulillah, we're so thankful that I had a chance to be in your company, you and Imam Siddiqui. So alhamdulillah. We have a couple of callers before we get off the air, and I want to get to these couple of callers here, inshallah. We have 724-866. State your name and where you're calling from. You're on the CWSC Friday Roundtable.
Assalamu alaikum. It's Sister Gail Muhammad from Pennsylvania, and I just wanted to thank Sister Ayesha for her initial education endeavors that she did in Pennsylvania from Mississippi. And right now, the name of the college won't come to me.
Bucknell,
yeah. In Lewisburg, and I went to Bloomsburg, which was close by, but not until 1970. But there is a large now Muslim association at Bucknell, and I'm trying to get you to trying to get them to invite you there as a Muslim now.
Wow.
I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, boy.
I'm
working on it.
I know we're winding down, but you know, when I was at Bucknell University, which is practically all white, they were integrating at that time. So they were bringing in black students wherever they could find them to come in and integrate Bucknell. It was my white professor who handed me the book called Black Muslim. The book that was written by Sierra Lincoln was titled Black Muslim, and that's how we got that title. Black Muslim was from that book.
Yes,
Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't call us Black Muslims. He called us the lost found nation of Islam in the wilderness of North America. But that was an experience as a white out of one of the strangest places on earth, at Bucknell University up in the Allegheny Hills, a white professor handed my book, Black Muslims.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
You're right.
Alhamdulillah.
We have one more caller you want to get to. You can stay on, sis. Or one more caller, 727-7416. Name and where you're calling from. You're on the CWSC Friday Roundtable.
Assalamu alaikum and God peace be upon everyone. This is Martha Naila Abdullah calling from St. Petersburg, Florida.
I thought that was one of your many numbers, Martha.
Yeah, I know.
Every time.
I tried to make it in when Wilmore was on. But greetings of peace to both him and to you, Professor Ayesha, Mustafa, and all our listeners. I can't say enough. My voice is getting a little hoarse here, so I thank Almighty God for the opportunity to relate and to relate to one another. You know, we have that human relation, and that's what I heard all throughout everyone's comments when you spoke, Professor, as you're relating to the common togetherness of the human being. Thinking about your family and thinking about, you know, some of the older ways, the ethics and the etiquette, all of that. And that's where we are. God, so praise to God. Yes, we look forward to staying connected with you. And I love that when you say about the Article 2 with AM360 and its guests. We look so forward to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Thank Almighty God for you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. We have another caller, 908-812. You're on the CWSC Friday Roundtable. State your name and where you're calling from.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Joan Adilla. I just wanted to reach out to all the listeners in closing that Muslim Journal is having a subscription drive concert this May 7th, and it's live streamed for only $25. So you don't have to be in Newark, New Jersey to come to the Shack Theater to enjoy the music of Greg Hill's tribute to the Delphonics. But it's a subscription drive. It's a drive to go out and get a new subscription or to sell a subscription or become a vendor. You can go to Muslim Journal Concert Tickets.eventbrite.com and buy a live stream ticket. Or you can call 973-373-0344, Masjid al-Haq, and get your live stream tickets and support Muslim Journal. I just had to put that infomercial out if you didn't mind.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Wow. So much going on, and look forward to that as well, Sister Joan. Thank you. All right, we are going to, Sister Ayesha, I wanted to just give you the last couple of minutes. I know we're running a little bit behind, but just give you a couple of minutes to just have the last words, inshallah, before we get off the air, inshallah.
Praise be to Allah. I just want to thank you all for staying the course and keeping community-wide Shura Conference alive and well and progressing. And we appreciate the partnership that we have with you at the Muslim Journal. We want to reinforce that and build upon it. And this through this hour, new thoughts, new brain cells are clicking. You know, we use the term like remake the world. We need to embed it in what we are doing, because Imam Muhammad, when he said that, he wasn't pretending, or he wasn't, you know, people say, wow, you're going to remake the world. One person at a time. Yes, we can remake the world one individual at a time. So we want to reinforce that in our column with a community-wide Shura Conference, the remake the world column. And we feature some of the old school people who came in as young. Remember, they came in as young adults. Wilmore Sadiq said he was coming out of Vietnam as a young person. You know, the draft age was what, 18, 19, 20. If you did 4 years, you were like 21, 22 when you were a veteran. So we employ our young people to use the skills you have for yourself, but have a responsibility for your people. We didn't convert to Al-Islam just for ourselves. It wasn't just me saving me. We converted to Al-Islam because we thought it was a good thing for our entire people. So, we asked our athletes, do you have a responsibility? And some of them say yes, some of them say no. But we're saying, yes, we do have a responsibility, not just for us Muslims, but for our African-American heritage. You think of those African Muslims who were enslaved, even here in Mississippi. I think their spirit still is alive and hears us every day. I really do. We said, think not of the believers it's dead, for they live. I feel those African Muslims who were enslaved here in Mississippi hear us. And when you go to New Medina, you get real close to where they were. Praise be to Allah.
Thank you so much. Wow, so much here.
Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah. We appreciate you.
MashaAllah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And thank
really
you for taking time out of your schedule, Sister Ayesha. And I'm going to ask you, Sister Alia, you have any last words that you'd like to leave with us?
No, just thank you, Sister Ayesha, the history lesson and just your knowledge. Thank you so much. May Allah reward you. And Juma Mubarak.
Juma Mubarak. And thank you, Juma Mubarak. And listening audience, we know you had a choice today, and your choice was to be with us. And we appreciate that, because we could not do it without you, listening audience. So, alhamdulillah, Juma Mubarak to everyone. And thank you all for listening. And join us back here at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time for Share Your Juma with Imam Omar Shakir out of San Antonio, Texas. Thank you so much. You all have a most pleasant day today, and Juma Mubarak. And I hope you all had a blessed Eid. We know that we have our days, and now we're in Shawwal. So, hey, let's keep the spirit going, keep that momentum going that we had in Ramadan, and let us just continue on in the spirit. May Allah bless us. And I want to say thank you all, inshallah. And may Allah continue to bless us on this journey we call life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And we're going to try to leave here with some of Mama Siddiqui. I'm trying to find some of his music because he was on here.
Yes, please.
And I was just, yes, that's why I was trying to find some. All right, I got something from him, and we are going to play some of his music. Alhamdulillah. All right, alhamdulillah. All right. I must put y'all loud did. I really he said a loud did. We're going to play a loud did. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My shoulder. Allah did all these things. Allah did. Yes, he made a beautiful king. Allah did. Allah did. Allah, we love you, all the things that you do, you Allah, we need you, let the sun come through. No matter what we can do, we bless the Lord for my own praise. I like it. Who made the medicine for my very day? I like it. Who made the shirt for my pain? Praise. I like it. All these things, I like it. Yes, he made a beautiful kid. Hey, Allah did a beautiful kid now. You're a beautiful kid now. Allah did now.